Welcome to Meeple Podcast, Season 4.
In our program today, we have a guest who has been invited to the World Cup. He doesn't come from an official ranking, but nobody can doubt his level of play either. His nickname on BGA is Bazilyuk, and we are talking about Maksym. Welcome to Meeple Podcast.
Hello Joaquin, my name is Maksym Bazilyuk. I am 31 years old and I play for the Ukrainian national Carcassonne team. I lived in Kyiv all my life. At the moment I live with my family in Canada, in Montreal. I started playing Carcassonne since the beginning of the pandemic. At first we played just for fun with our friends offline, and after, in March 2020, I found Board Game Arena site, and since then I play there all the time.
First of all, I would like to ask you about this, your access to the World Championship, so that the audience of the show understands it. Could you be so kind as to explain to the listeners what this wild card means and why you are going to the World Championship without having qualified throughout any event?
Before the last year's championship in Essen, the game's publisher Hans Glück, I hope I spell it right, decided to support us not only with words, but also with an invitation to the final tournament for one of the players of the Ukrainian national team. For obvious reason, we were unable to take advantage of this invitation at that time, but we can now. Our team is quite strong and all the players are particularly equal, and we could have sent anyone from the team. But since I am one of the few people who is not in Ukraine and can came, so here I am.
Tell me something. That cat that you use as avatar on BGA has a specific meaning, doesn't it?
The captain of our team, Sergei Zakharenko, used to use this cat as a cover for tournaments on BGA, and when we organized the team, he quickly made an avatar with this cat for everyone, and so now we use this as our avatars.
Hey, you are one of those players that everyone who enjoys competitive Carcassonne wants to be like, by your elo level I mean. You have even reached master level, although at the time of this interview you are a bit below.
Yes, you're right. I've crossed the 700 elo mark several times. But in addition to skill, I also hear a lot of things means of luck. A lot of luck. Which, as we all know, can come and goes when it wants. If I will set to myself such like a task to get it again, I think I can get the title of master back.
How do you keep that elo? Because if it's difficult to achieve it, it's even more complicated to keep it.
I play quite a bit and I can already see many moves ahead of time. With experience, it becomes much easier to win and to understand how to better put your tile and meeple. I think I have already played more than 10,000 hours, and I can say that I'm already an expert in this game.
You have played more than 5,000 games of Carcassonne on BGA. I know there are players with more games, but the average is not exactly that amount. It's a high range of play, especially if your BGA account is 3 years old, which brings us to the statistic that you play more than 1,500 games every year. That is more than 100 games per month, or in other words, an average of almost 5 games per day without stopping playing any day.
Yes, I didn't count it, but maybe you're right. Just don't tell my wife about this statistic. She wouldn't be unhappy to know where I waste my time. As IT guy, I work in front of computer all my time, and when I want to have a break, I can just visit Board Game Arena site and play 1 or 2 games in Carcassonne. And as we said before, those breaks can be 1, 2, or 3 per day. And very often because of this I lose, because there is a very urgent call to which I have to answer and lose by time. And maybe this is also the reason why I now have less than 700 elo.
About Germany, what are your expectations for your participation?
I haven't played the offline version of the game in over 2 years. And I never participate in this kind of offline competition or tournament. So I'd like to say that I'm going exclusively for the victory. But I will face it. I will do my best and enjoy the tournament. And I just want to meet people with the same mindset and to have a good time.
In this World Championship, you will meet Russian players who do not play under the flag of their country, but I wanted to ask you if you are uncomfortable with their presence or you understand that they have nothing to do with the atrocities of the political class.
It's pretty hard to answer on this question right now. I realize that not all people are involved in that horror that has been happening on my land for the last almost 2 years, but I can say that my attitude will be immediately friendly. But don't worry, I don't plan to be a conflict with anyone.
There is something I wasn't aware of until last year. Many publishers do not cover the travel and living expenses of their national representatives. In your case, this is obvious because you get to the World Cup in a different way than the rest, and it is the same for the players who come from the qualification of their team as semi-finalists of the WTCOC, but the Ukrainian representative has to pay the expenses to go to Germany. I have seen that in Hungary, Romania and other countries the cost is paid by the player himself.
The organization of the tournament promised me and Anatoly with accommodation in Herne, but everything else in our own expense. The captain of our team, Sergei Zakharchenko, said that he will try to help me somehow and raise money for the flight, because tickets from Montreal were very expensive, and it can help me to feel myself much better.
The Ukrainian team this year didn't reach the playoffs, but regardless of the results, it is important to have recovered the participation in this WTCOC 2023.
To be honest, we haven't had much time for gaming for the last 2 years, and we didn't came to the tournament with the greatest desire either. And I know that in Germany, Russia and many other countries, they have the qualified tournament to the national team, and they have maybe more than 20 or 50 participants in the tournament, and they can stack great team. But in our country, we just gather people according to the rating on Board Game Arena site. But from this year, everything will change to the better. So wait for our victories in the future.
You have had an active participation in this World Team Championship, but which was the match that created the most frustration for you from the point of view of the result?
I still can't remember any particular match right now. I know that all guys did well, everyone tried their best, and I don't remember that we have some serious mistakes or something like this. And first of all, I don't see the point in emphasizing the loss or anything bad in life. We analyzed our games, drew conclusions, and we'll train further. That's all.
Good, Maksym, I would like you to tell the podcast audience an anecdote, something that you think is important to tell the listeners, or simply something that you think is interesting to tell and I haven't asked you before.
This is probably going to be off topic now, but I have to say it. I met a man from Peru last week, and he asked me, "Why don't you want to go back to Ukraine, or why don't your friends come to visit you? Everything is over in your country and there is no war. At least in my country, in Peru, the news doesn't show anything about it and doesn't talk about it in any way. So, it's not right. In fact, in our country, there are still battles and many people are dying, especially a lot of civilian people are dying. Cities are constantly bombarded with missiles. This should not be happened. Like someone who thinks that he's better or stronger should not be able to do whatever he wants and remain unpunished. It's not right. That's what I want to mention. Thank you.
It was a short interview for the World Cup. I hope we can meet again in the future.
Yes, I hope we get to see each other again. Whether it can be a game or another podcast or maybe even over a beer. Yeah, thank you.
I wish you the best of luck and a huge to all Ukrainians from this sound channel.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was really very interesting experience for me, and all the best to you. Thank you. Goodbye.
We say goodbye until the next episode. Bye bye.
I'm so far away from home, in this desert of regrets. Never thought that I would have to let you go. Tell me, how can I forget? If I could travel back in time, I'd lay a blanket full of stars to brighten up the darkness of our sleepless nights.